In this exercise, I'm going to show you how to set things up so you have nice big layers icons every time you create a new document inside of Illustrator, because by default, that's not the way it is. I've gone ahead and saved my changes as fussyguides.ai because I went ahead and renamed my individual guides, as you may recall. And I've saved that file into the 04 line art folder. But now we're going to create a new document just so that you can see, even though I've got some nice big layers previews going on. That isn't the way it's going to be for the documents you create. So if you go to the File menu and choose the New command or press Control-N, Command-N on the Mac, and then select Print as your profile, or really anything else at this point, and click OK, why then you have these dinky panel icons. And you can make them bigger by clicking on the flyout menu icon, choosing panel options, and then entering a different value such as 60, what have you. Click OK, now it's big, and that'll be saved as part of this document, but the next document you create, guess what? You're going to have small icons again. Now, if you don't like that, and why in the world would you, then you need to change the definition of that print profile. Now, what might be nice is if you didn't have anything opened, if you close this document, then without any document open, you'd go to the Layers panel, bring up its flyout menu and choose Panel Options, but then Panel Options will be dimmed because it's an illustration attribute. There's no way to change an overarching global default that will work throughout Illustrator. Instead, you assign this command as an attribute to one of your existing profiles. Let me show you how that works. Go up to the File menu, choose the New command, once again, Control-N, Command-N on the Mac. And I want you to go to New Document Profile right there, click on it, and choose Browse. And the whole reason we're doing this is the same reason we did it last time, so we can find out where this darn folder is. So those of you who are Macintosh users, you need to click on this item in order to see the entire path revealed before you, and then you have to write it down. I apologize, it's a pain in the neck. Also, by the way, not my fault, but still, I apologize on behalf of Illustrator. I'm sure it would be mortified if it knew any better. On the PC, just go ahead and click inside of that path bar in order to select it and press Control-C in order to copy that path. Then click the close box because you can't open print directly from this dialog box. It'd be nice if you could, but even if you try to drag this thing out into Illustrator, it doesn't work. So what you'd end up doing is just loading it as a template for a new document. That's not going to do what you need it to do. So cancel out of here as well. And then let's go to the bridge by clicking on the bridge icon up here in the application bar, or by switching over to the File menu and choosing Browse and Bridge, or pressing Control-Alt-O, Command-Option-O on the Mac. Those of you who are Macintosh users, just navigate your way to that folder path that you wrote down. So you're going to have to dig inside the various subfolders in your computer system. You on the PC, though, can just click in this path bar, and then just by pressing Control-V, paste in that path you copied a moment ago. And it'll take you here. These are the files that we're looking for here inside the New Document Profiles folder, and now you can open them up directly. So let's say Print is the one you're going to use most often. That's one I use most often anyway, and that is the Ultra default setting inside of Illustrator. So go ahead and double-click on it in order to open that file inside of Illustrator. You'll get that irritating CMYK Profiles message. Don't worry about it. Click Continue. And then you will have the print document open in front of you. Now it's nice and blank, there's nothing going on, but it does contain the default swatches, it contains your default symbols, your default brushes, and so on. And you can assign layer attributes. Now, by layer attributes, I don't mean that you can create a bunch of layers and that will be remembered inside of your new document. It doesn't work like that. You always have one layer that's called layer 1, even if you add a bunch of layers and a bunch of objects to print.ai. They will not show up in a new document. But this will. Go over to the flyout menu icon, click on it, choose Panel Options, and then I want you to set this value to whatever you're comfortable with. And I'm going to change it to 60 pixels. As I say, it works out pretty well on this display. You might want to go a little larger. Click OK, and now you've got a larger preview here inside the panel. Now, ideally, Illustrator would notice that you did something and you could choose the Save command to update this illustration, but so far, Illustrator isn't paying any attention to what you've done. So what I'd like you to do is just draw a line. Just go ahead and get that line segment tool, and notice you can select it by pressing the key that looks like that tool, which is the / key, and then draw a line, like so. That's all you need to do. And now Illustrator has a sense that something's happened. So press the backspace key or the delete key on the Mac to get rid of it, go up to the File menu and choose the Save command, or press Control-S or Command-S on the Mac. Now you can go ahead and close that document. We're done with it. Now what I'd like you to do is create a new document for real by going up to the File menu and choosing the New command or pressing Control-N, Command-N on the Mac. Make sure Print is selected as your document profile. And let's go ahead and name this guy True Romance. Number of artboards is 1 for this illustration. I'm going to set the width because I don't really know how big this illustration is going to get. But for now, I'm going to set it to a width of 800 points and a height of 500 points. Should do us. And that doesn't necessarily match any paper size, but guess what? I don't care. Now go ahead and click on OK in order to create your new document and look. You now have large previews inside of your Layers panel. And this will serve, by the way, as our new illustration. And even though it might seem a little bit terrifying at this point that we're staring at a blank page, things are going to get much better very quickly starting in the next exercise.